Hello, I'm Brian Johnson, and welcome to another episode of Better Cocktails at Home. We're here in our home bar, the Quarterdeck Club, and we're making another punch in this episode. Now, this is a punch that I've never actually made, but it sounded really interesting. The flavor sounded interesting. We're going to make it right now, and then we're going to taste it, see how we like it. And I think it's a good example of how we scale down a recipe, and you can adapt a punch for kind of a smaller amount. So, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make oleo saccharum. So we're going to use sugar and then lemon peel to do that. So for this recipe is called USS Richmond Punch. And of course it comes from the lovely punch book by David Wondrich. And so he doesn't give like a lot of history of like where he found it. It kind of gives a little history of the ship, some of the timeline of it, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of like the ship was kind of, I think it was christened 1860, I believe. And so this is coming from, that era of Civil War, that kind of stuff. So we're going to start making the oleo saccharum. So we're going to do a little over a quarter ounce of sugar. And I'm kind of, from the recipe in the book, I'm actually going to reduce this by 8. So we're going to do a little bit over a quarter ounce. You don't have to be exact here, but something close. All right, now we're going to bring in the lemon peel into this. So we take our lemon and we start peeling. Now, obviously, we want to do this before we juice it because it's a lot harder to get the peel off a juiced lemon. And then we can go ahead and use this for the juice later. So that's why we do that first. So I'm going to just do 2 peels from 2 lemons here. Make sure you're always careful with your peelers. They can inflict a lot of damage. I cut myself badly a couple times. All right, so now we've got that in there. So we have peel and sugar, and then I'm just going to kind of lightly use my muddler to kind of start to get the oils. What we're trying to do is we're trying to extract the oils from the peel. We're not trying to like pulverize it or make it into this mash. We're just trying to get the oils started to extract into the sugar a little bit. And you'll kind of see it. You'll start to smell it as it kind of starts to come out of the peel. And why we do this at the beginning, it takes a little bit of time. So, and if you really wanted to make a really nice oleo saccharum, you could do this like the day ahead of time. So by the time you use it, like you've gotten all the oil out. It's super like bright lemony flavor. Oftentimes I'm making punch, especially if it's a small amount for just a couple people, I'll just kind of do it before I make the recipe. And so that way it gives a little bit of time to get some extraction. And so, yeah. That's what we do it first. So we're just going to set that off to the side here. We'll let it sit for a minute while we make up the actual punch. So, like I said, we're going to reduce this one from the recipe in the book by 8. So, first thing is a nice strong Jamaican rum. So this is Smith & Cross. I love this. We're going to do 4 ounces of this. And I'm just going to mix it in this mason jar here because I know it'll fit and it's easy to store in the fridge. And next up, we have a cognac. I'm using Pierre Fran's 1840 here. I love this stuff for mixing. It's got some good heft to it. It stands up well. Going to do another 4 ounces of this. All right. Next up, we're going to do black tea. So we're going to do...
I don't know that.
Oh, Alexa, thank you. 4 ounces of black...
You're very welcome.
Thank you. 4 ounces of black tea. And now we're going to do 4 ounces of a ruby port. So this is going to add some nice, like, heavy thickness to this punch. So you can kind of tell by the ingredients, right? You're like, okay, this is going to be like a nice, thick, rich punch. All right. And then we're going to do 1 ounce of a curaçao. I'm using Grand Marnier here. This is actually what he recommends in the book. So 1 ounce of this. Now we're going to juice our lemons. So we need about 2 1/4 ounces or so. So I'm just going to double strain as I juice it into my measurement to make it nice and easy, quick. All right. It's nothing like fresh squeezed lemons. Smells delicious. Just incredible. We're almost there. We're getting close. All right. I'm actually going to juice one more because we're not. Lemons as a natural product will vary quite a bit in how much juice. Like usually, I mean, I'm expecting at least 1 ounce or so out of a lemon. These were kind of a little dry, so I got to do an extra one to get us that 2 1/4 ounces or so. Which is why you can't be asleep at the wheel when you're making punch or cocktails or anything like that. You got to be, paying attention to what your lemons are doing, that kind of stuff. So, actually, before I'm going to do this, I'm going to explain something. Sometimes I drop it in. Sometimes I'll actually take this and put my lemon and juice in here to help extract some of the sugar. So when you make an oleosaccharin, right, you've got this nice lemon peel here. So this is all the sugar. You can kind of see it's like starting to glisten. That is all filled with like the oil of like just delicious oil, right, from the lemon. So like we don't want, if I just take this out right now, we're gonna lose some of that like incredible sugar. So one option is to do, sometimes I'll put my lemon juice in here and mix it up, kind of start that process. Another thing to do is just dump this all in here, shake it up a little bit, fish out the lemon peel. So that's probably what I'm gonna do in this case because it's just as easy. So I'm gonna put, in goes these delicious lemon peels with all that great sugar on them. Now we've got a cool punch all ready to go. Now we're not done. There is another ingredient in this, but I'm going to shake this up now to start getting that sugar dissolved even more. Doesn't take too long. All right, so we just got done. I kind of shook it up a little more, helped the sugar get dissolved. So now this is the stock. At this point, normally I would put this in the fridge, let it kind of meld overnight. All the flavors are going to come together. Obviously, you want to see me taste it, and it's going to give us an idea of the flavors. But yeah, at this point, I would take this, stick it in the fridge, and drink it the next day. If you're impatient, though, as I sometimes am, it's going to be great like this as is. So I'm just going to skip ice right now because I kind of want to get as much flavor as I can and not dilute it down as much as if I add ice right now because this isn't chilled. So that's why I'm doing that. So from this, if I do, let's say I do 2 ounces, right? So I take 2 ounces of my USS Richmond Punch. Add that to my glass. And then we're going to add the weak part, right? The seltzer, club soda. I'm going to add equal parts of this. So if I added 2 ounces of the stock, I'm going to add 2 ounces of club soda or seltzer. And that's how I would serve this, right? So it's going to be a little bit more, obviously, colder because I didn't chill this, but you get a lot of it's definitely like a rich, like the color just gets a lot of that ruby port coming through. It's a dominant color here. You can kind of smell the lemon. It's going to taste like really rich. Like just kind of like that's my vibe I'm getting from it. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean that's a delicious, like rich, kind of just really nice flavor, full flavored punch right there. This is not a like summery punch, I don't think. To me, this is like fall, kind of like that season, I think. But honestly, like if anybody gave this to me any point during the year, I'd be happy to drink it. So delightful little punch. This is kind of how I would do it when I'm scaling down for a couple people. But that's the USS Richmond Punch. And I'm Brian Johnson, and I will see you on the next episode of Better Cocktails at Home.